It's time to visit the islands. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Season 8, Episodes 20 through 27, aka Islands, Parts 1 through 8 of Adventure Time. So last season we had stakes, and this season we have islands, and then there's other ones for the next couple seasons that we have left in the series. But these are a multi-episode special, and they're kind of a big deal. I don't know what we're gonna get exactly with this one, but I have a guess. I have a theory based on stuff that I know about this series. So, plus stuff that's already been set up in this season. I have a theory of at least one thing about this, I should say. Because I mean, it's only one factor of the entire special. I don't know what the entire thing's going to be about or what it's going to be centered on. Islands is vague enough to where it doesn't tell you a lot. I assume it's going to continue off of the pre-boot reboot stuff that we already got, like with Susan and everything. I assume it's going to, be connected to that. Just as an example of my theories. But I can't really, or I don't want to really say anything else yet, just in case I'm wrong. But I'll just say that if I'm correct, we're going to be meeting someone that we've been wanting to meet. So yeah. I'm very interested to see if this can live up to stakes as a multi-part special. Because that one was just so fucking good. It's like, how do you top that? How do you top something like that? Of course, it's also a little on the unfair side in that regards, considering Marcy's one of my favorite characters. So it's like, you have to not only top it in terms of writing and storytelling and all, but also, like, you have to top it from the fact... How do I word this? You have to top it in a way to where it overcomes the fact that the last one was centered around one of my favorite characters of this entire series. So, that's going to be difficult, I feel. Now, I believe just like Stakes did, this does have its own special opening. I have not seen it. So I don't know what it's like at all. I don't know what's shown in it. But yeah, we're definitely going to be watching through it here and probably looking through it as much as we can. I'm not going to spend too much time, of course, but I want to at least see what's going on in it, I'm excited, though, to close out the season and everything and to see how this ends with this special. Just as a note, we will be bringing up in the afterthoughts what is going to replace this. So make sure to stay tuned for the afterthoughts to see that. And that'll explain, how that's all going down. But in the meantime, I think we should get ahead with this series of episodes, because there's a bunch of them. There's 8 total. So we should probably get ahead with doing these. So, let's see what Adventure Time's Islands have in store for us. Let me just cut in here for a moment to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. A plethora of awesome series reactions every day, Monday through Friday, with 2 on Friday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday, as well as Let's Plays. We alternate between Horizon Baldur's Gate 3 every day, and we have Anno Mutationum on Saturdays. We also redirect all reactions on the channel. Please follow the link in the description to get to today's reaction. It's due to copyright, you get the idea. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out and allows me to get out more awesome content for all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get on with the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. It's happened a few times on this channel with various reactions, not like saying with specifically Adventure Time, but with various things where it's like, I get through the episode, or episodes, or movie, or whatever, fairly fine, but then almost the instant I stop the recording, I break down. I just burst into tears. And that happened here. It's just like right when I hit stop on the recording for the reaction, it's just I just broke. And I don't know why I was able to hold it in so well before that. I mean, I was getting emotional. And I feel like that was probably pretty noticeable. I wasn't exactly hiding anything or even trying. There was even like maybe a point or two where I sniffed a little bit. Like that. But I wasn't like crying or anything. I never really quite got into that range of things. But like I said, the instant I turned the recording off, the instant like it stopped recording, I just broke. It just hit me all at once. And it's... I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's a very good thing to just cry sometimes. It sometimes may hurt in the moment. It may feel like a lot to deal with at the time, but it definitely can make you just feel better afterwards. Letting that emotion out and being honest with it can just a lot of times make things so much better. And yeah, it definitely like kind of gave me this almost rush of endorphins or whatever after I got through that, because it just felt good to let that out, to just emote. I was questioning in the pre-thoughts and all, like, is this going to live up to stakes and everything? Can this possibly be on that level for me? Because, as I said, Stakes was amazing, in my opinion, for my viewing experience. I loved the shit out of it, and part of that was especially because it's centered around like one of my favorite characters from this entire show. So I was questioning whether or not this would be able to live up to that, considering it's more than likely not centered on Marceline again, and it wasn't. And I'm more mixed on this, I'm gonna say, than I was on Stakes. So hear me out here. Stakes, I would say, is more consistently high quality than Islands. Islands has 1 or 2 episodes in here that I was not that big of a fan of. I think it's 2. Because there's the one where they were on the island with the, I want to say Swedish woman, Ava, or whatever her name was. And the bear and all. That was boring as shit to me. I just didn't care about these characters. I didn't find a reason to be interested in them. And it wasn't, like, terrible, but nothing about it was interesting to me. Nothing about it was exciting or fun. And the other one was the BMO-focused one. with the virtual reality shit going on, all these people stuck in this virtual reality situation and not knowing how to exist outside of it. It's like there's obviously some heavy stuff to dissect there, but at the same time, it felt like for lack of a better word, it felt like a side quest. It felt like it was completely unnecessary and it had nothing to do with the rest of the story. Like, I'm fine with the journey to the islands and the lizard dude in the water lizard dude. That's all fine. The pirates getting sunk, sure, because that's just part of the journey and everything. Um, and I understand that both the stuff with Ava and with these virtual reality people, it's all about seeing like humanity, seeing humans alive, but kind of in a entirely different situation, an entirely different, unexpected situation of living. I understand why those episodes were here, but I felt like it could have just done more with the main island to show that. Maybe like have a lot more actual stuff going on before even finding Minerva. It felt, even though it technically wasn't, it felt like a side quest. It felt like it wasn't part of the main story here. It felt out of place. Again, even though I know it technically wasn't out of place, it felt like that. And so, because of those couple episodes, that did bump Islands down a little bit for me comparative to why is my mind blanking now? Stakes. I said it before. My mind just had a little brain fart there. But yeah, the rest of this stuff though, especially the last couple episodes here, were like the very definition of peak adventure time. This series gets really fucking weird and silly and just even sometimes just plain not good at times. It can be like just too much to handle sometimes, because it's like it goes too silly to the point where it's like, oh, this is just kind of unenjoyable. I'm not really, I don't really find the humor or the excitement in this. It's just kind of weird for the sake of weird. And I don't tend to like that. I like it when it like feels like there's something, like I'm getting something from it, you know? And I also love it when we get these episodes that are more story focused and very emotionally resonant and heavy. These episodes detailing like the history on this island with Minerva and Martin, with Kara and Frida, and everything in between, and seeing the modern day and everything and how it's changed, but also how things have stayed the same in a lot of ways, especially in regards to stagnation of the humans. It's just it's far more interesting, and most of this is not played for laughs. Like, there's some humor in it, but it's actually played surprisingly seriously. Like the backstory and everything with Susan / Kara. She said she prefers Susan, so I'm gonna mostly say that. But that backstory was so fucking investing. I was so strongly invested in her childhood, growing up with Frida and everything, and the very, very blatantly clear romance between them. It's like, it wasn't really that subtle, but I don't know if they ever are gonna like explicitly confirm it like they do with, like I know they do with Bubblegum and Marceline. Um, but even if they don't, like, I ship these two like crazy because their chemistry is undeniable. They have great character together, and it's just like Frida even blushed when when Susan grabbed her hand to pull her away. It's like, come on. It just feels so obvious to me. But like all of that was just so amazing, and then the stuff with Martin and Minerva, and seeing how Martin was actually making a better life for himself thanks to Minerva. But we see how that ended up as well. We know how he turned out after that. After he escaped from the island, unintentionally, mind you, and lost contact with his son and wife and everything, he did not end up well because of it. And we've even seen, even with regaining contact with Finn and everything, he at that point it's like he was at a point where he was just too far gone. And it's his life has just been destroyed by his own actions, his own corruption that's happened after he lost this all. I truly believe he would have become such a better person if he had been able to stay. He would not, he probably wouldn't be like he is at all to any degree. And again, just with both him and Finn having left the island, and Minerva just like, going into that deep depression and losing hope that they were even alive. It's like, Jesus. Again, like this special felt, for the most part, very serious. It handled it with respect and care, and it never treated this as like a joke or something to take lightly. It made it very clear that this was a big deal for Finn, for Minerva, for humanity, and for this world that everything is taking place in now. And I very much believe that Minerva and the other humans are going to make a return. I don't know when or how, but I 100% believe it. I just feel it's a matter of time. And like I made such a huge point of like standing up for Minerva here, because it's like she at no point in this is an antagonist. I'm not saying a villain. I'm saying she's not even an antagonist. She, again, wasn't really doing anything to hurt anyone. She wasn't trying to act against anyone's interests. She just wanted to save lives. She wanted to protect people because she hadn't been able to do so before. Not even only just with her son, but with all these people on this island who died of this disease, this virus. The same virus that would have killed her, that killed all of her fellow doctors and scientists. Like, she lost so much because of that and had to even give up her physical body. And this was all while she still thought at that time that her husband and son were dead. So, him being able to come back into her life, like, yeah, she's going to want to protect him. She even says she didn't want to lose him again. She was just a traumatized, like, really sad woman who didn't want to go through that pain anymore. And that's like just fucking depressing as shit, man. Like, my God. I would say, like I said, I would say overall, Stakes is a better special. Like, it's just more consistently good. But the highs of this special reach greater heights than Stakes ever did. Like, the heights of Islands are just so much higher than Stakes were. But again, Stakes is more consistently of that of higher quality. And it's just because of those 2 episodes in this one. But that's not to say, like I said, those 2 episodes aren't terrible or anything. They're just so much weaker compared to everything else and feel kind of out of place, in my opinion. And that's not to say just because I think that the best parts of Islands are better than the best parts of Stakes. That's not to say the Stakes isn't exceptionally great as well. It's just a wild situation. Because they both have, like, exceptional highs. It's just that this one has more lows as well. This was like special though, overall. The stuff with Minerva, again, the stuff with Kara and Frida, it was so good. And like I said, it made me cry. I mean, I broke down after ending the reaction. And it's not because of, like, any, like, personal connection to this kind of story or anything. I don't, like, have any personal, like, stories that connect to Finn or Minerva here. It's just, that shit just hit hard. It didn't need to be personal. It just hit hard because it was so well written. It was so emotionally resonant, even without having something to specifically connect to. It was just that well written. And it was obvious that Minerva was going to be able to see the truth in the end. That she wasn't, like, going to, like, stick with her, her attempt to, like, you know, digitize everyone else there. That was very clear, so there wasn't, like, a huge amount of, what's the word? Tension. There wasn't a huge amount of tension there for me because it's like, it was very clear that she was going to give in because she was always reasonable. There was nothing to believe, nothing to make me believe that she wouldn't be reasonable in that situation. It just took a little prodding. It just took a little effort for her to see the truth. Finn had to show her what the outside world could be like. Yeah, she saw the bads of it in the first time he showed her things from there, but he showed her the good as well, and it proved to her that it's like, yeah, all this heroism can even come from a crazy world like that. All this helping. And that's what won her over, because that's all she ever wanted to do. She just wanted to help. She just wanted to help people. It's just so good. It gets me so invested, so, like, deeply emotional, and, like, that's the kind of shit I want. That's the kind of shit I love in anything I react to. So, yeah, tell me your thoughts on these in the comments below. But before we close this out, we do have to decide on a replacement. Now, we have lately been doing, for this slot, polls. This has been a poll slot, and we've been going good with that. But there's been one problem with the polls that I've noticed. We don't get a lot of votes. And that's why for the last few polls I've been, like, really pushing people, like, saying please vote, and, like, putting that in the title of the announcement videos for the polls and stuff, because people haven't been voting as much. It's like I just don't get a lot of votes, and it always makes me feel like, I guess, inadequate as a YouTuber because of that. I was doing the polls in the first place so that you all would have a that you would have like a what is the word or phrase? Don't you hate it when your mind blanks because you've been thinking of other stuff? I wanted you guys to have like a part to play in choosing some of these shows other than just donation rewards. And polls are something that a lot of reaction channels do. And I want to make clear that I plan on doing more polls in the future. So if you were worried I was going to a point where like, oh, I'm not going to do polls anymore, it's like, no. Because I do want to I do want to keep it so that you guys have a say in some of the stuff we react to. But I think we're going to take a little bit of a break from doing polls for the time being. And we're going to focus on the wheel that we've been doing lately. We will come back to polls, like I said. All of that is going to happen again. But it's like also with the fact that because we have so few people voting on them, it ends up just like, oh, one of the options just runs away with it almost the entire time. So it just feels kind of uneven with that as well. So we'll come back to polls in the future. We'll do those again. Probably a few months from now, maybe. But for now, I actually really like doing this wheel because it allows us to get to stuff completely fairly. We don't have to worry about waiting on things, or if we're doing it for a reward, a donation reward. It's like I'm not actually the one choosing which one we're getting to next, so it's a little more fair for everyone. Stuff like that. It allows us to keep it a little more fair, a little more even. And so we're going to be doing that with this slot. And like I said, it probably in a few months we'll get back to doing polls. We're just going to take a little break from it. And that doesn't mean, by the way, that series that we've had on polls already won't be available to be brought back in again. It just means that if they do come back in before we get back to polls, they'll just be put on the wheel at that time. So, yeah. That being said, we have a big wheel this time because we're going basically based on things that are on shows that are my choice, basically. Stuff that were we would either be starting new or stuff that we would be continuing. We're covering kind of all of that in one wheel here. Basically anything that's not a donation reward or a first impressions continuation. And I don't have every show that could be on here. We only have 23 at the moment, which is still a lot, mind you. I mean, 23 is a lot to have on a single wheel. But it's like there's other stuff that I just like am thinking like I probably don't want to get to that quite yet. For example, Tangled the series. I don't want to get back to that just yet. I said I was going to give it another chance, and I still plan to. I'm just not ready to do so yet. So that wasn't put on the wheel, for example. But we are going to go over everything on the wheel. Let me just get this up. It is going to cover my face, but I will still be here. So we have Onmyoji, Total Drama, Revolutionary Girl Utena, Middle Manager Tonegawa, Blood of Zeus Season 2, Carmen Sandiego, Arc, the animated series, Onimusha, Be the Beginning, OKKO Season 3, Primal, Mayanaka Punch, Good Omens, Scavenger's Reign, Pokemon Horizons, Kinnikuman, Perfect Origin Arc, The Grim Variations, Thermae Rome Nove, High Rise Invasion, oh my gosh, it's going a little too fast, Ancient Magus' Bride, Hilda Season 2, Disenchantment Season 2, and Lookism. I believe I started with Onmyoji, so Lookism. So yeah, there's a lot of options here, as you can tell. And like I said, I'm still here. You can see my hand there. It's just so you can see everything on the wheel here. We're going to just, as we always do, spin it once, and whatever we land on gets it. There's a lot of options here and a lot of different kinds of things, so who knows what it's going to end up being. But that is going to replace Adventure Time starting next week on Wednesdays. So let us spin it. Let's see what we get. And the winner is High Rise Invasion. Okay. So High Rise Invasion is like a Netflix series, or well, it's an anime that's on Netflix. Actually, I don't know even, is it an anime or is it a anime style Western cartoon? I actually don't know. But it's one that's on it's on Netflix, and it's one I've wanted to check out for a bit now, but just never got around to. I don't know what the plot is about, like, at all. And the title doesn't tell me too much, but I'll get into that more when we get to episode 1 next week. I also don't know how long it is. I think it's only a single season, at least right now, but I'm not even 100% on that. But either way, just because one of the options that maybe you were looking forward to didn't get it this time, doesn't mean it won't be coming in the future. If you were looking forward to, let's say, Hilda Season 2, or Carmen Sandiego 2019, or OKKO Season 3, just because they weren't chosen this time, doesn't mean we won't get to them. And yeah, you may notice some of the stuff on here too is like stuff that we got to a long time ago and just for one reason or another never got back to, such as Carmen Sandiego and what was another one that we started before? Oh, HMH's Bride. Season 2's actually been out a while. Disenchantment Season 2 was another one. Total Drama's been on hold for a while now. And then there's some stuff that you may even notice that was like dropped before, and we are going to be possibly giving another chance to, like Revolutionary Girl Utena. And there was another one on here. There was another one on here, right? That I had dropped before. Oh, Middle Manager Tonegawa kind of was. So there's that, yeah. Good Omens. Good Omens, that was a first impression one, actually. But I decided not to continue. I decided to watch on my own time, and I just never did. So, I kind of put it on here just as like a my choice thing to continue, rather than continuing it as a first impression. Though I guess technically it probably would still count as a first impression. Maybe I should put it on the other wheel then. Oh well. I mean, it didn't get chosen anyway, so maybe that should be on the other wheel though, for the one for the first impressions, if I do want to continue that. But yeah, so I should probably get this off my face. There we go. Like I said, tell me in the comments below what you thought of of these 8 episodes of Adventure Time Season 8 Islands. Thank you so much for tuning into this. And yeah, High Rise Invasion begins right away next Wednesday. So for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.